204 ground control Black Ops technology. And what we have on the bench today is a Bearcat 980 SSB. Okay, $120, free shipping, can be at your door in 4 days. A very reliable, very fun radio. Not too many bells and whistles. Okay, and like I say, it is an AM single sideband radio. It is surface mount technology. Okay, so all your resistors and your jumpers are going to be smaller than a grain of rice. Okay, this is a hybrid of a microprocess controlled radio. Okay, so it's a hybrid. It's got some of the old tech into it, and it's got the microprocess controlled interface for the heads up display, and like I say, your button interface and everything is not even connected to the PC board other than the wiring harness. Okay, well, if you're looking for a good mobile radio and you don't want to put your $400 and $500, $600 radio on the mobile, you're thinking the same way as me. Summer heat destroys radios. Winter condensation and moisture destroys radios. Every hump and bump you hit on the road shakes the radio. So I would never put a 955 in the mobile or a President Lincoln 2 in the mobile. I would rather buy something that's a little bit more cheaper along the lines and still have some quality control there. The 980 is it for sure. Now it is a QRP, okay? This is a low powered radio and it's not going to do much, all right? And there is a single final upgrade for this radio, okay? And I see some techs on YouTube, no names mentioned, they'll do the single final upgrade and leave out the heatsink. Now, even with this single final upgrade, it deserves a heatsink. Now, normal talk time with this stock radio, this aluminum chassis does get warm. And there's no two doubts about that, okay? So the aluminum chassis is connected to the PC board. Heat transfers to the mount, to the screw, to the PC board. Then your RF output section starts to warm up, okay? That's the last thing you want. And I'm talking about it gets hot, okay? With that single final upgrade, it gets hot. So guys, food for thought. If you're going to do the single final upgrade, drop in the $1.25 heatsink, man. Bolt it to the chassis and connect the MOSFET mount. Yeah, it'll save these CBers a lot of heartache when it comes to this radio. It is a real good radio. It is. For the price you pay, man, you're definitely getting a bang for your buck. All right. Now, I wanted to get that out the way. And what we're going to do is we're going to head over here to the DC connector, okay? These are your DC power leads that come into the board. As you can tell, there's no ferrite, all right? So instead of going through the trouble and desoldering this and getting me a small ferrite and wrapping the DC leads, I'm just gonna wrap the power cord with a snap-on ferrite, okay? We'll have some impedance there to help against EMI, RFI, especially in the mobile, all right? And I do know some guys that go through the 12-volt cigarette socket to power the radio, and ferrite will definitely help with a DC line noise or anything like that. Now, back here is your DC transformer, okay? Now this is a 2019 version of the 980, so it's a little bit different than the older ones. The older ones, actually, the AM pot was back here for your RF output, okay? Now it is right here. Let's see if we can get a focus going on. There we go. All right, so Romeo Tango 203, that's 205. RT 205, is that a 5? Jesus Christ. No, it's a 3. I was right the first time. All right, my apologies. Romeo Tango 203 is your AM power. There's your potentiometer, okay? Now, stock, final, and everything, this radio will barely give you a 4-watt dead key. It's about as high as you can get it, all right? And like I say, they're a QRP. They're a low-powered radio, so you're lucky to get 16 watts peak out of it. Stock final. All right, I don't recommend the NPC mod for this. It'll eventually burn up the radio. It's a hack NPC mod at that. Okay. So what we're going to do now is we're going to come over here and I'm going to show you Romeo Tango 206. That's your automatic modulation control. Okay. Instead of it being a resistor here and or whatnot, it's a potentiometer. So this opens up your modulation circuit. This is what allows the amount of modulation to be injected into the board, all right? So no higher than 105% modulation, okay? 110% modulation, she's gonna be a splatter radio. So anything under 105, 100%, she'll be spot on, man. She'll sound real, real good. Clean wave on the scope, all right? Now, in order to get your forward swing, you will come here to Romeo Tango 202, RT 202. This is your automatic limiter control. So instead of having a resistor in line and those hack techs would clip the resistors to open up your modulation, there's a potentiometer here to regulate that, okay? You can max this out for forward maximum swing, okay? Now, you can adjust your swing any way you want, but if you're driving an amp, you're definitely going to want as much as you can get out of this radio. And, I've seen guys on YouTube, draw out about 20, 21, 22 watts out of this radio. And to be honest, even with the single final upgrade, that's not a good idea. Because like I say, they're not putting heat sinks on the back of this thing, man. So this RF output section, the driver and the final, all this shit gets way too hot, man. Then you start having complications on the board due to heat, okay? And if you haven't done the test, get a heat signature gun and do the test. And I'm gonna tell you the difference between a heat sink and no heat sink. It's crazy. But like I say, RT202, you can set this for forward maximum swing, no higher than 15 watts, 16 watts, okay? You're safe to swing forward for that. Like I say, it's a QRP radio, so you're not going to get much out of her anyways. Along the lines of single sideband, this is where most of your circuits are located at. Don't touch. I don't recommend touching this radio for single sideband at all. When I first got it out the box, I went up on 38 lower sideband, and my first contact right out the gate was a guy down in Dallas, Texas. So that's one hell of a trip from the state of Maryland to Dallas, Texas on a 2-watt radio. So I was really, really pleased with that. All right. But I mean, other than that, and other than the few things that I spotted out, it's a really good radio for the price, man. Yep. And like I say, these radios, they can use electric microphones or dynamic microphones. To be honest with you, I've done the test with another operator on the other end. The electric does stand up to be a lot cleaner, okay, than a dynamic microphone. So, with that being said, And it's such a simple radio. Like I say, a few bells and whistles, a couple little tweaks and peaks. There's no real serious mods to be done to this radio. Like I say, if you do the single final upgrade, start adding heat sinks to it, man. It's causing problems. And unfortunately, the CBer who keys it up has to go through those problems and then send out the radio. Yeah, it's just a big headache. But anyways, let's get on the meters. MFJ 868. And we'll be going through the MFJ 870 as well. Okay? 20 watt scale. Peak is enabled. Stock microphone. Okay? Let's get into it. Just about 4 watts. Now we're gonna modulate. Sorry, I got a little close to the speaker. Audio check 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9. Audio. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9. Audio check 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3. All right, well, you got yourself a 4 watt dead key. Okay, so the 980 will be pushing the high drive amplifier. All right, so being down to 1.5 watts or 2 watts, you know, that's not what's needed. We need at least a 4 watt dead key, and most high drives can take up to an 8 watt dead key. But anyways, you're not going to get 8 watts out of this radio. And of course, we had a 16 watt peak envelope power rating there. So audio check 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. Audio 16 watts, no doubt about it. All right, we're going to come back over here and we're on reflect. Okay, we're going to check the reflected power, the power that is lost as we key up. All right, so about 1/4 watt of reflect. Let's modulate. Audio check 1 2 3. Audio check. No forward swing on the reflected power. That's real good. 1/4 watt. Audio check, 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 check. Now we're all gonna have some loss, man. You're always gonna have some loss somewhere. There's no such thing as a perfect antenna or a perfect coax system. Audio check, 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 check 1 2. All right, so reflect is down, man. 1/4 watt. You can't beat that at all. Like I say, you're always gonna have some loss somewhere. There's no such thing as a perfect antenna or a perfect coax system, whatever the case may be. But you always want your reflected power as minimal as possible. All right. Well, guys, you've seen the 980 QRP here at the Black Ops Technology Bench. No doubt about it. We're going to put the covers back on because she is done. She is rocking. And if y'all want to hear the modulation real quick, we'll give you a little sample, all right? Real clean. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9. 204 ground control. 204 ground control. Audio test and tune. Break, break, break. And that's with a stock microphone, man. You know, so they're good sounding radios. They're reliable. And a pretty cool bang for the buck. No doubt about it. Well, if you're a subscriber and you're back, I appreciate you watching. And if you're a new guy, click that subscribe button. There's always more content to come. 73.